slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
Anybody in the chat? What is your opinion? How about let's take a poll as you come in, okay? And the poll is: do you think Eric is talking because he's off the hook, or do you think Eric is talking just because he needs money, or do you think Eric is talking because he might be arrested? What is the census? I got to put a title on my stream real quick. Oh, darn. All right. Okay. Yeah, let me. How do I do this? All right, let me try to put a title on my. It just says that I'm live, which is fine. Close enough. Oh wait, can I put a title on here, or is it too late? Anyway. Yep, good to see you guys. Please, Kathy, bring me up. I'm not on StreamYard, Justin. I'm on YouTube, and I can't get you up here on YouTube. I'm gonna probably go live again in a couple days, and I'll go on StreamYard because that's the only way you can have a guest on here. I'm not on StreamYard tonight because I didn't expect anybody to come up. But yeah, I would have to be here on StreamYard, all right? All right, let me put the title in here. Let's see. Reviewing. All right. Nothing real flashy, just reviewing Eric Carroll's live streams. All right, so I'm going to just pop that in there. All right, now I can get back into the chat, all right? Okay, so I get a channel so I can see what you guys are saying. Asked a bunch of questions and then I pulled off the screen. All right, let me get back on my... Oh, come on. This thing takes so long when I'm in a hurry. Okay, now it says reviewing Eric Carroll's live streams. It's good enough, right? Like I said, nothing too flashy. Hold on a second. All right. So yeah, we got. There's a lot I want to go over actually. And I've taken a lot of notes. And so before we start, I'll do the formalities. Okay. The formalities are. This is just a. We're just gonna review Eric's Dad Talk live streams that he put out on public, and we're gonna go over them. These are just my opinions and your opinions. We're not we're not experts or nothing like that. So just use your own discernment. We're just going to go over things and give our own opinions. These are my observations, my opinions, my thoughts. Yeah, I'm not saying anything else like that. So just that's that. And so along with the people in the chat. Oh, and speaking of the chat, Thank you everybody for being here, and thank you anybody who's gonna listen on the replay. And just the rules real quick, just be chill. This is a chill chat. This is not a drama chat. We're chill over here. And so if Grace thinks that there's a problem, she's been on my channel almost 10 years, so I trust her. She'll just time you out for 5 minutes, and then if you come back and I mean, you got to get pretty stupid for her to use her rent. So anyway, and I don't think we've had really any problems recently at all. So anyway, so anyway, let me back up. I will, Justin. I'll read it. Bring me up 5 minutes. Okay, so that's why I can't bring you up, Justin. And so anybody who's saying that Eric's gonna sue me, well, I have to be saying something that's not true. And for anybody that is trying to tell me that he's gonna sue me for saying that he had relations with well, they said, vulgar way to say that he, was with Timmy or whatever. Listen, you know what I said? I said I think it was inappropriate that he was in bed with a mentally challenged person he barely knows. And yeah, I can back that up. But for somebody to falsely accuse me of saying that he's doing these very, you're actually the one that's slandering me. Okay, just remember that. I can prove anything I say. And some are just my opinions, but watch out what you're saying. I'm trying to figure out where I left off here. Kathy, please bring it. Okay, hold on a second. So I don't know if you're like hip to this streaming stuff. That's my calendar right in front of me, by the way. We can't do that on here. So anyway, let me just go through. Very important what Eric's trying to do. It's the key 1900%. Well, please do tell. Unless you want to wait till I do another live stream with the StreamYard. He's going to jail. Okay, so hey, dear Jane, good to see you. Welcome. Am I missing anybody? Kathleen, Amy. Okay, by Kentucky Grammy. He needs money. Well, that's he's probably gotten a lot of money from them last 2 live streams and the promos for his live streams. He got a lot. I don't even know how much that is, actually. I don't know how much you get for that many views on a live stream. I have no idea. I haven't seen any announcements over the investigation being over yet. I'm gonna talk about that too, because I called the Beckley police today. Yes, I did. I called and I asked if Eric is still under investigation. Yes. Stay tuned. I'll tell you what they said. I'm gonna catch up on it. But yeah, I did. I called. I asked. That's right? I mean, there's so much misinformation out here. Might as well go right to the source, right? Because I thought, well, why can't I just call and ask the Corporal Gilkerson personnel, if Eric is still under investigation? Yeah, and I did. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. I recorded it too, by the way. I'm not going to play it, but yeah, I recorded it because, my state's legal to record, and so is their state. So there's that. I didn't even tell Grace. Yeah, I didn't. Because I just did today when I got home. I was gone, and when I came home, I thought, why don't I just call? He's trying to clear his name and character with the blame game. Isn't that, hey, Florida Life in the Sun, isn't that terrible? He's just like retrashing. It's like, jeez. I think he's done enough to that family. He can probably stop now. But yeah, trashing them all over. Oh, and now he's throwing the Beckley adult protection people under the bus. Oh yeah. You guys see that one last night? I'm sure probably a lot of you have. So I'm going to tell you about the phone call today. And I'm going to tell you why I think. Anyway, we'll get into that. I just want to catch up on these. I want to see what Justin has to say. Trying to clear his name. Yeah, he is doing a lot of blame game. Putting people to sleep. And Eric's desire to be seen as Saint Eric says something about his need for control and recognition. That, that is true. He needs so bad for people to say, wow, Eric, you did a great job. He's like very thirsty for that. For people to see him as some type of savior or something. Is that called a savior complex? Is that what it is? I don't know. Dear Jane, when someone consistently frames himself as a hero, could be a way of reinforcing their self-worth or deflecting any feelings of vulnerability. I think you're onto something there, dear Jane. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Not my monkey. It's good to see you. I went to the flea market today again this morning. I bought some fencing rolled up in a big ball, and I had to carry that big, heavy roll of fencing around the fairground. But it was worth it. I got it for $10. That's right. Let's see. Good evening, all. I'm going to be watching in the bushes, busy setting up my garage. Oh, really? I live for garage sales. I'm going to post my big garage sales that I've had. I've had a couple. Well, I've had literally hundreds of. I used to be a state sale. I used to do state sales, but I've had lots and lots of at my own. So I'm going to post mine. I had them up. I went to bingo the other day, and I was showing my friend the videos of my old garage sales. It's been like 2 years. No, I didn't have one last summer. Maybe the summer before, but yeah. Well, that's fun. And once it's all set up, all you have to do is put your hand out and collect that money. A little bit of bargaining here and there. That's the fun part. I call it the dance. His father's inability to recognize Eric as someone he should be proud of is likely to blame. Yeah, I don't know. Though, I will say, I was going to say Eric needs therapy, but I think we may have wandered in on one of his sessions the other day. It seems like Eric and his friend Jeff there, Dr. Morgan, was, it seems like they were having quite a therapy session. I almost felt guilty for listening. Yeah, he was being quite the therapist to he's been quite the therapist to Eric. It's not coming on there. What happened? Huh. All right. Yeah, this is the one that I want to go over. So, but as I mentioned in my video the other day, Jeff started out all smiles, and very soon it looked like he was, Not feeling like he had been at the carnival too long. Started out really exciting and fun at first. You know, he's just full of smiles, and after this, you know, after not long, actually. All right. I have timestamps I'm putting up right now. Hold on a second. All right. We're going to go back to the beginning, but I want to tell you something that oh, wait. What am I doing there? I'm going to tell you something that I caught. I don't know if you guys... there was some things in here that was kind of interesting. And I'm not gonna go through this and play this. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna tell you the timestamps. There's a couple things I am gonna play. Not much though. You saw it, and you've probably heard these same stories over and over and over. But last night, he was there by himself, okay? Because Jeff, like, yeah, he wanted to get off the ride. I mean, he had enough. And last night, he was there by himself, and did you guys catch? I thought was so weird. Did you guys catch when he was talking about no, man. I'm gonna look at your guys' comments because I just saw something. Did you catch where he was saying, implying that Patrick was having some type of relationship with Betty to get at her because she's the boss and the matriarch? Almost like, I mean, is that what you? Is that what he's laying down? Because I don't know if I'm picking that up. He said, when he said Betty, did he even have a clip of it? You know, when I was listening last night to him talk about that, where, you know, he thought it was inappropriate to be asking Betty for a kiss. And then that one time Betty almost kissed back, and he's kind of like, is Patrick sleeping with the boss? You know, is it just me? Because that's kind of what he implied. Like, Betty's in charge of things. She's easily manipulated. And he's wondering if it was more than kissing. I mean, because listen, I was outside. I was actually out in my pole barn, and I had headphones on. And did I hear that right? Because I'm pretty sure he said something about him, Patrick and Betty were having something behind the scenes to so he could get you know, a foot up on things. He does have some weird thing about his father, and then Jeff was having like a couple weird therapy moments where Eric had his head down in his hands, and he was saying, you know, Jeff was kind of like being a full-blown therapist, telling about his childhood trauma with his preacher dad, and I'm like, should we be listening on this? Because it sounds like he's in therapy. It's like we just drifted off into, you know, entered into somebody's therapy session. All of a sudden, this is weird. I thought Eric was the therapist. What really bugs me the most is Eric insisting that he's the only one who would be able to guide the care facility on how to take care of Lorraine, Ray, and Timmy. You know what's funny? He said he was teaching the nurse how to put cream on Ray's knee. Good thing he's teaching the medical staff how to put ointment on somebody's knee. Because without him, I mean, they would have, I don't know what, who knows? Who knows how horrible things could have turned out. And it was weird that it was really weird that he said he's admitting to one lie. And one of the lies is that one of the lies, oh shit. So I forgot it's plugged in. I started walking away, I forgot it's tethered here. That threw me off. Oh yeah, okay. I just remember. So yeah, so he was saying that he copped to one lie of, well, that's a start. But it's a lie to benefit him as always. And this lie was that he was helping the care center after the extraction. He called it an extraction. They called it an extraction where they extracted 3 humans out of their living, their home. Out of their environment, they extracted them. And Eric, if I remember right, because again, I was outside last night and I was listening. I was doing stuff, but I was listening. So if I heard it right, he said that after the extraction, they said, yeah, we're on our way. And he's like, what? And he said, yeah, we extracted them or something. So they were on the way to the hospital. And then Eric said that he trained the everybody, their language and stuff, which I had to laugh. He doesn't know their language. I think some of us know their language better than Eric, but he's like, he helped them extract them. He, laid the groundwork. He did all this stuff. And then the 3 were in the hospital. And the first day it was all good. The second day he got a little bit of questioning when he got there. Third day they told him basically scram camera boy or something like that. Not exact words, but hey, you ain't no filming down here or something. And then he said that was the same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and that was the 10th. Okay, so they got taken on Monday the 8th, Monday the 9th, Tuesday the 9th, and then Wednesday the 10th, they told me you ain't going to see him. We'll give you some FaceTime visits. He said maybe he got 1 or something. So now he's feeling ripped off because he had all them papers ready to go for Timmy that he said he didn't have ready to go. How to interpret what they're saying, what they need. Yeah. Wow. Are we supposed to, commend him for that? Okay. Justin said, okay, he's claiming mental problems because he's going to plead not guilty by reason of sanity. Okay. I told you, I was going to tell you guys, I called the Beckley police today. Okay, and I asked if Eric's still on investigation. And yeah, I did record that phone call because it's legal. And I called down there. And I said, yeah, I just want to ask real quick. They said, Beckley, please. I said, hey, yeah, I said that, I'm just wondering, about that Whittaker investigation. And I see that one of them, Patrick, got arrested. I said, I didn't really see what happened to the other one. Is Eric Carroll still under investigation? And the lady said something like, and I have it recorded, but I'm just going off memory. It was just a few hours ago. But she said, yeah, we can't really give that information out. And I said, really? Because, I read your article or whatever. And then she said, why do you want to know? Something like, why are you asking? Why do you want to know? How are you involved? And I said, well, I think I said I'm not. She kind of threw me off. And I said, well, I did call last fall and give some information. And I did. Last fall, I called down and anyway, I called down and talked to the receptionist and asked if the investigation was still going. And then I told them, but anyway, they transferred me to Corporal Gilchrist's voicemail, and I left him a voicemail. And I said, you don't have to call me back. I just told him this. That's what I know. And I said, I gave him my name and my phone number. And I said, you don't have to call me back. But anyway, so when she said, why is it your business? And how are you involved? Something like, how are you involved? And I said, well, I'm just wondering because I called and left some information last fall, and I'm just kind of like I'm just want to follow up, you know what I mean? And then I said, because I haven't, there's misinformation out there, or whatever. And she said, yeah, well, yeah, they're not going to give that information out. I thought that's weird. It'd be like a yes or no question, but anyway, and that she kind of was done talking to me. I said, but I asked one more thing. I asked, will we find out when the investigation's over? Because I've looked and I don't see anything online that will we find out? Because you posted the thing, they posted the story about this, right? About the investigation. I said, will you be posting another? Are you going to put something else out when it's wrapped up? And I forgot what she said, but she told me to just watch their, I don't know if it's a Facebook thing or whatever, but anyway, she just told me to watch for, just watch for a press release. If they have something, they're going to put it out on a press release. So yeah, she wasn't giving up the goods. And I thought that's weird. But yeah, so don't call down there and bring up Eric Carroll's name because they no, I don't know if they got like a bunch of phone calls, but she was not in the mood. Let's put it that way. Anyway, yeah, it was weird. Okay, so let me see what Justin's got. So let me back up because I'm kind of all over the place. Okay, yeah, and he has been mentioning his mental problems and all that. I'm trying to read you guys' comments real quick. Yeah, and he did. He a savior complex. Yeah, the preacher's son has a savior complex. Who would guess, huh? Can people reason Eric is saying he's got mental problems because he's gonna play not. I'm not sure if that's gonna fly. I think you have to be mental at the time of the crime. And if you're like trying to cover up crimes, here's the problem with insanity plea is, you have to be insane at the time of the crime. I don't think later. Later, you can be found not competent to stand trial. They'll put you in a nice little safe place till you are, but it has to be at the time of the crime, and you can't be trying to cover your tracks because that shows that it was wrong. Like anything, if you try to cover up, it's wrong. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I hope that's not what he's doing. He's not saying anything he hasn't said before yet. Well, he did. He did a couple things. You're right. It was the same old stories. I think some of the stories even got longer and more details. Like now, instead of just a bag of Amish potato chips, there were Amish cheese puffs and Amish corn chips. I've only heard of potato chips. No, that's not like a big deal, but it seems like he's embellishing even the potato chips at this point. Because where did these cheese puffs and Amish cheese puffs and Amish corn chips? And then he said they drove an hour each way to go get them. Well, you're just there for 2 days. How does that make any sense? You got back and said, oh, we forgot the chips, and went 2 more hours to get chips, and then we're supposed to think he's heroic for that? Like, And now it's, yeah, cheese puffs and really? You love play, but you know what they got now? They got electronic bingo. Yeah, you can still do the paper with the dauber. I don't like that though. Too stressful. I just want the thing to do it for me. And then, yeah, you get a little iPad. You go and you grab an iPad and they're all charged up and you sit down and it just does it for you. Blots it out and it says 1 left or 3 left. And then, as you know, so you just have to watch that. You can talk. You got to talk quiet. It's like a library. But yeah, bingo's fun. Sorry, in my opinion, Eric is going to be arrested. He believed them. He's a man, but no. Oh, okay. Here, I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you a couple of clues why I think he might be worried about getting arrested. I don't know if he's gonna get arrested or not. And I really didn't ask that down at the police station. What I asked was, has he been cleared? I mean, I think that's reasonable to ask. Has he been cleared? I mean, you told us he's a suspect, and now has he been cleared? Whatever. They used Eric as a pawn to snitch and told him what he wanted to hear. Little did he know, he dug his own grave. Whole demeanor when he said he told him he was going to sing like a bird. You know what? You know what's weird? Eric feels betrayed, like he got the double crosser got double crossed. Now, I know it's an old movie, but back in the 70s, there was a Charles Bronson movie with Jan Michael Vincent. It was called The Mechanic. And they were both dirty, making a bunch of money for being hitmen or something. And the whole time they were suspicious of each other. And at the end, yep, they offed each other. It was an amazing movie. But it reminds me of them. You know what I mean? It's just like, they're both like, making a lot of money doing dirty stuff together, but they are so suspicious of each other that, yeah, and they were both right. In the end, they both offed each other. Anyway, it just reminds me of that movie. Good movie too. Yeah. So I think he feels cheated. If his story is true, because I don't know if he's telling the truth, but if his story is true, that he did all that, but here's why I doubt it's true. I'm going to tell you why I doubt it's true. Is because, okay, if they wanted the Whittakers so bad, right? And I'll tell you why what I think. But if they wanted the Whittakers so bad, there's so many easier ways they could have done it without getting him involved from outside. And listen, Eric said that, and we've heard this story before, that, and it was a month before Eric got the APS involved, a month before they had gone to Patrick's house. They said they, got some complaints about you painting, Timmy's toenails or some shit. And Patrick said, get off my property, scram, or whatever. And Eric was furious because he said that. And he said, you can't say that to them. But according to Eric, to his to his shock, they closed the case. Now, is that what happens? Because I've never had APS or CPS to anybody called to my house. But if they say we want to check on something and you say no, get off my property, maybe they go away. I don't know. I think it depends on how serious the accusations are. But in my opinion, I think Eric called that first time. Yep, about the toenails. And if you go back, and I looked, and when was Patrick painting? When was Patrick painting Timmy's toenails? That was in July. Oh, and I got some news for you guys. I got some news for you guys. Remember when, here, hold on a second, I'm gonna make this easier. because this is too distracting. I'm going to put your comments up on my phone. So, okay. You know, my theory, my opinion and my theory is that they were trying to get BJ gone from the get-go. Right away, they were trying to get BJ gone. Do you guys know that I just found proof that after Eric's very first visit, they were planning on getting rid of BJ before the cop arrest and this was in July. Yep. I have a text message. And I have a text message and I'm going to put this out on a video. I have a text message between Patrick and Eric. And the text message, they were talking about that chair, right? They're talking about the chair and you guys, this goes so deep, okay? And I would have to use my calendar. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I would have to use my calendar to show you the whole scale of this. But Eric had one visit at the end of June. The first visit was at the end of June. It was the last couple of days of June. Then he left for July and went out to the Robert Mans trial, right? And during that time, Eric and Patrick, my opinion, according to this text I have, Eric and Patrick were already planning on getting rid of BJ. I have a text that says, and the cleanup, mind you, that cleanup in the yard was the last few days of July. Okay, so we're talking July, before Eric even came back for a second visit with his brother. From that very first visit, they were planning on getting rid of BJ. What did I say? It was Operation Get Rid of BJ. Because why? In my opinion, they already know. After the first visit, they already know that they can pay off Larry and Betty with some chips, some snuff, maybe a run to Aldi's, a run to Walmart, a couple $100, and all the rest they can split. And in my opinion, Eric, the double crosser, I think he was not only getting rid of BJ, I think his plan was to get rid of Patrick. And what he said yesterday and the day before verified it. He was telling Patrick they're going to get co-parenting, but down at the APS at the coffee shop, what did he say? Yeah, you guys, you dropped the ball on Patrick. He's an awful person. He's this and he's that. And according to Eric, their jaws dropped and they knew they effed up. So I think it was Operation Get Rid of BJ. They both agreed on that because I have the text message. And at the cleanup, BJ was mad about that red chair, and I showed the red chair, and I should do a video on this. They were and they said, they threw away the red chair, and I told Patrick, go on Facebook Marketplace, get him a used love seat, and give him something. Oh man, I could say so much about this, but I don't want to get sidetracked. But anyway, in that text message, what they did not show you was the next message. The next message says, just give her whatever she wants. Pretty soon we're going to be rid of her and we won't have to worry anymore. I saw that text. That was the next one that they cut off. And I have it. And Eric said to Patrick, don't worry. She'll be gone. Make her happy for now. Pretty soon she'll be gone. And this was before the copper, before the arrest, before the hog on the phone, before all this stuff. And I also have a clip. I have a clip that out of Eric's own mouth, when him and they're in the vehicle and he's headed back, and he said that, and him and Patrick were on live stream, and they said the first thing we ever heard about anything wrong with BJ was last night, Sunday night. And well, that was, I'll tell you when it was. I got my calendar right here. It was, okay, so they claim the first they ever heard of any problem was Sunday, the 24th of August. But Eric, I have a text between you and Patrick that says back in July that you guys are getting rid of BJ. And I believe that he was planning on getting rid of Patrick too. And that first, because did you hear what he said? He said but that's the first I ever heard of APS. Well, wait a minute. You've been telling us these stories over and over and over and over, how your mom was involved and your dad was involved, and you guys adopted all these adults into your home. Well, how can you not? And your mom worked for APS. How can you not know? You told us your mom worked for whatever that place was. How can you not know? Anyway, let me get my comments up. I don't know why it's not coming up. All right. Yeah, so there's that. Let me get your comments in. Okay. So back to why I think that he's talking now. For one thing, he's racking up some money. He said that he's broke. Okay. He said he's broke. This has cost some money. He said he's made a few trips down to the over to West Virginia. And remember in December, Larry told me on the phone that he thinks Eric was in the courtroom talking about money or whatever. They didn't know if it's about Timmy. They don't know if it's about money. It might have been both. I don't know. But yeah, they aced Eric here out of his cut, which was Timmy. All right. Yeah, so he's totally playing the victim. But he always has. He's always played the victim. All right, let me see if I can get comments up here. Yeah, so okay, so when he started out on Monday, and I'm going to tell you what gave it away for me, that I think is might be a chance he's afraid of getting arrested, because here's what he said. Well, first of all, he said he was being told he can't talk. He was led to believe he can't talk. He's not telling us who. Then you think, was it a lawyer? No, he doesn't have a lawyer, and I'm gonna prove he doesn't have a lawyer. Out of his own mouth. But he kept saying he can't talk. He can finally talk now. Why now? Because just 3 months ago, him and Mark came on, and they did finally we're gonna tell it all or something. Finally, Oh shoot. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you real quick. Where is it? Yeah, here. All right. Here. Not that long ago. Where is it? Not that long ago. Yeah, right here. 3 months ago. Breaking the silence. Now, I mentioned that. He's already broke his silence. Now he's breaking more silence, but saying the same thing. But when he started out this time, him and Jeff, he said something different. Okay. So in this one, right away at the beginning, I'm going to tell you I'll even give you the, in case anybody wants to timestamp it. Yeah, this video got 13,000 views, so I don't know how much that makes, but So he starts out, he can't talk, and there's going to be a time where he will talk, but so he's talking out, he's talking or not talking out of both sides of his mouth. He can't tell all. He's got documents. He's got limits. He's led to believe this stuff. He's told to be quiet. But he's talking, and then he made a jab at Patrick. He implied that one of them nasty comments out of thousands of comments. One of them, he said, it had the last name Rourke, so he thinks Patrick might have put somebody up to, or it could be him. Like, okay, get over yourself. But he made a jab at Patrick. And then Jeff called him the sacrificial lamb. Then Eric flashes the contract like like he's standing a block away and waves it, and half it's covered up. Like, just freeze this, just freeze that. Oh, you saw that? Okay, yeah, good freezing. But here's what he said. Where is it? All right, did you guys catch this? At 10 minutes and 48 seconds, he says in so many words, he says that he wants to get his story out. Okay, after 10 minutes of all this, he says he wants to get his story out because you just don't know. Something could happen to him or Jeff, and I mean, no offense, Jeff, but nobody would really notice if Jeff wasn't here, but he's talking about himself. He's trying to, but he says, we don't know. Something could stop us from talking tomorrow. He wants to say something now in case he can't talk later. So there's an urgency that all of a sudden he wants to get this out because he might not be able to talk later. Well, wait a minute. I've never came on a video or a live stream and said, you guys, I'm going to tell you something because, there's a chance I might not be able to say something later. Unless I'm expected to either get arrested or, whatever. Unless I'm expecting something, a reason why I might not be able to be here later. But he said that. You can look it up yourself. 10 minutes and 48 seconds. It starts to just say, yeah, he's in this video here. So I thought that's interesting. It's an urgency because he might not be able to speak later. Well, wait a minute. Why won't you be able to speak later, Eric? Why wouldn't you maybe not be able to speak later? Will you be, will he be a little tied up? We don't know. I don't know what that meant. But, and then of course, he goes into slamming. Now he's got to discredit everybody. Do you notice he never really gives anybody any props or shout outs except himself? He always pats himself on the back for this. And he even bragged about bringing Ray to the bathroom and he didn't even get paid for it. But he's always propping himself up, but he never really gives anybody else props. You know what I mean? In anything. So, but even, so he went into this old money thing with Mark and BJ spending, like, why? Because he wants the Whittakers, he wants to remind everybody how horrible the Whittakers are, how bad they are with money. Oh, and speaking of money, he came in here, I'll tell you. And then he said at 15 minutes, he said he had their money, he just couldn't prove it. But he isn't telling you where the money is now, right? But because of the extreme weight loss, he's got a lot of weight loss. He's just my opinion, he's just not looking healthy. And so, something's eating Gilbert Grape or whatever they say. Something, obviously he's, there's some issues. And he did say he's got some mental issues, but we did see a few sessions of therapy through here where he had, he almost had Eric crying. Dr. Morgan over there. All right. And then that 17 minutes. This is for anybody who wants to clip these, okay? Because I already recorded the whole thing. But I have notes here. He said that, now remember, Jeff here on the right, he said he was the one telling everybody that he got the word down at Beckley from Corporal Gilkison himself that there is no more investigation. It was a big mistake. It was like for media purposes only. And now Eric's joining in on that delusion because that's what I got to describe it as. Somehow, I don't know, maybe he's heard it so much. Eric believes that, it was a big mistake. Eric was never supposed to be listed as a suspect. And did you guys catch when yesterday on his live stream he said that he said, "Oh man, this keeps reminding me of that Double Cross movie." He said, after they kind of, told me he's not going to see Timmy anymore. Pretty much, yeah, you're not welcome here, and we'll maybe give you Timmy time or whatever. He felt, I got maybe a possible cat fight. There's a big red cat. It causes trouble. Hey. Oh, no shit. No, I got this. All right. All I have to do is flick the light on. It's a big red male, and he just comes up and causes trouble. And he was, you heard it. He was going to throw it down. All right. He's gone. Okay. But anyway, he was telling everybody that this was just a big mistake, right? So Eric they ran him out of the hospital. So after a few days, he was pretty much aced out. After all he did for them, basically. He taught her, he got him extracted, helped with the extraction. He showed the nurses how to do their job, and all this stuff. And then, so he felt really betrayed there. And then he said that after the investigation, he asked them, "Why is my name on there with Patrick?" And what did they say? Did you catch that? They said, "Sorry, Eric, we don't." The APS ladies, the people down at the ones that just, according to Eric, allegedly had turned their back on Eric and put the kibosh on the visits for the family. I guess it lasted 2.5 days 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. By Wednesday, Charlie Kirk Day and the 10th, they told him, "No, you're not going to see him anymore. Maybe you'll get a FaceTime or something." I think he said he got one FaceTime, and then that was done. And then when he saw his name was charged, when he had the charges on him, what did Eric say? He said, "Wait a minute," he told the APS people, "why is my name on there?" And they said, "Sorry, Eric, we got nothing to do with the state people who probably are in the same building as them. Let's get real. I live in a small town. Everything's together." But anyway, they said, "Sorry, Eric, can't help you with that." And that's why he said he was a patsy. That's why he said he's the fall guy, the patsy, he was betrayed, or what his thumbnail said? Something like, "I was used," yeah. But I'm going to tell you why I don't believe it. If they wanted the Whittakers bad enough, they had the chance when they went to Patrick's. Patrick says, "Get the F off my property." They could have left, came back with the sheriff, and told him, "What up? You know what I mean? We're going to talk to whatever." So if they wanted the Whittakers that bad, they could have gotten the Whittakers. They've had 70 years to get the Whittakers. They didn't need him. And I believe it was Eric's idea. And he had speaking of adoption papers, give me a break. Anyway, I'm going to try to get back on your comments real quick because I'm so far behind. I can't really. Yeah, Eric was upon a snitch. They cut him off, told him a lawyer. Oh, and I'll tell you, he doesn't. I'll tell you why he doesn't have a lawyer. Because I'll tell you where I marked it. At 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 39 seconds, he said, not even a month ago, I had to make an hour or so drive up to West Virginia again. So he's having to be going up to court on his dime out of his pocket. He said, they should have reimbursed me. It's not supposed to be an undue burden to him, but somehow he's paying out of my pocket. And he said, his car's, not running well and all this other stuff. And did you hear what he said? 2 words that he said? I caught. And I had to represent myself. Really? You had to represent yourself? Where's your lawyer, Eric? Oh, man. I gotta read you guys' comments. Yeah, so that's what he said. He said, and he had to represent himself. Really? So there you go. Bam, no lawyer. Yeah. Yeah, he said, basically APS played him. Well, duh, of course it did, right? Hello. Yeah, he should have bought APS some chips. There's some, I guess we're just hearing a few new details. And you ever hear somebody repeat the same story over and over, and all of a sudden in this story, there's Amish cheese puffs and Amish corn chips? You know how you've heard this story so many times? Hey, you never mentioned the cheese puffs before, you know what I mean? That's a fact. So, I don't know. Yeah. Sounds like he may have anxiety, panic attacks. Yeah, something's going on. I'm trying to scroll through without... It doesn't roll real smooth. Sounds like, yeah, I think it comes along. I think it comes on long enough to make money. Otherwise, he went in hashtag. We keep saying he can't. Hey, D, good to see you tonight. Welcome. You don't like him? Yeah, even some people. Did you just notice the first night there was so many angry comments, and it seems like they scrubbed all those people off of there, and then it was like 90% good comments the next night. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think the insanity fence is gonna work because maybe now, he's insane. I don't know. That's up to him to try to prove. I don't know nothing about that. Yeah. So Patrick, yeah, right. We have heard that Patrick's a ladies' man, but yeah, he implied that him and Patrick and Betty had a little thingy wingy going on, and he was like trying to sleep with the boss. That's what I've gathered. Yeah, he does the dramatic pauses and then lifts his head down, and yeah. Also, everybody is okay. Yeah. How come everybody was fine with Timmy going back to Georgia? No, I don't think he's telling the truth about a lot of stuff. But yeah, how many people wanted Timmy to get adopted? Hello, Timmy was never up for adoption. Okay, I don't know, and I don't know. Oh, I'll go over them adoption papers too, because that was a joke. One thing I never understood: Patrick got Jason's house and gutted it. Oh, and you know what else? I realized that I was always not counting July 21st check. But what am I thinking? He got monetized. Like, they got monetized on. They didn't sign the contract till like June 18th or the 20th. The 18th through the 20th is when they did the contract, but they monetized actually before that because they talked over the phone. So it was, yeah, so they monetized. They monetized on the 18th. And so they had, and that's why they had over $20,000 coming. They had, and that's why they all had $6,000 each. And that's why we saw the text that said, Patrick said, can I borrow Whittaker's $6,000 so I can get Windows? Remember that? Can I borrow the Whittaker's $6,000? That was for July. Then the August was when it was like the 70. That was just one platform too. You think he has an attorney now? He just said he just said yesterday he doesn't. He just said on Monday in that live stream at 1 hour, 23 minutes and 39 seconds, he said not even a month ago he had to drive to West Virginia with no money, car running like crap, and he's got no lawyer. He just said, and I had to represent myself. Yeah, representing yourself means you ain't got a lawyer. Yep. So let me scan through some of these comments. And if you want something for me to read, write it in capital letters, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, they did. They ran Eric out of the hospital. After all he did, he taught him how to feed him, how to hand him sandwiches and stuff. He told them what they like to eat. Yeah, Ray, Ray, give him snuff. Lorraine, give her potato chips. Timmy, he likes bologna sandwiches. Oh, and by the way, this Timmy time thing. I mean, is it just me? Okay, so Eric acts like he caught Patrick doing the mortal sin of Timmy time or some crap. First of all, that was Patrick's platform to begin with. But nonetheless, it was after the contract. I didn't even care about that. But tell me, I'm going to tell you where it is. He called it, he made it sound like it was some, well, he called it an underground web. He said then I find out some underground group is doing FaceTime with Timmy. He didn't say by name. He finds out that this the underground group was Facebook, you guys, because not even probably a month or two ago, I saw that FaceTime thing still up. In fact, it said FaceTime with Timmy or something. And I clicked on it, and it was on Facebook, and I clicked on it, and it said this link is no longer working or something. It was a dead link. So it wasn't he called it some underground organization had, okay, so tell me, how is Timmy Time on Facebook? It wasn't an underground organization. It's like it's Comet Pizza in Washington, D.C. or something. No, it was Facebook. Okay, Timmy Time. Okay. He acts like that was the worst thing ever. How is that different than having Timmy sitting on your lap on a Facebook Live? How is somebody talking to Timmy with Patrick or whatever? How is that different than people paying to have Timmy on these live streams? He's sitting on your lap on the live stream. He's in the chair next to you. He's on the toilet. How is Timmy Time worse than following Timmy to the toilet and live streaming him saying he's trying to take a crap? What did he mean? He was singing like a canary about the APN. What part did he say that at? He's going to, or he is right now? What is he going to say? He was the one. He's the one arm in arm with these people, right? And then he's acting like he was never going to adopt Timmy. Are you kidding? I should say I have in my file. I have all kinds of messages from text messages even between Eric and his mom. And the mom said, "Oh, Eric, you're going to be a good daddy. I can't wait for the adoption or something of Timmy." And it was all these trips planned, and he's going to do this, and he's going to go to Disney World and all this other stuff, Sea World or whatever it was. Eric thought he, had Timmy. Then he finds out Timmy's a private citizen. He could have taken him anyway. Nope. On that Friday, when Eric blew up, it's because Betty said, no, Timmy doesn't want to go back with Georgia tomorrow. He got mad. He left, and I have him on video saying, you know what? Timmy doesn't belong there. I want Timmy. Yeah. Like, what? And his face is all red. Yeah, you wanted Timmy. Like, now, are we all supposed to pretend we didn't see that? Yeah. And why exactly? Why does he need Timmy's social security card, birth certificate to go to Georgia? Right. Yeah. They already had all those things. And as a matter of fact, I have a clip where they're, and as a matter of fact, I have a deleted clip. I have a clip that Eric told Dwayne to cut out this one clip. And Dwayne put it on his video. And then that deleted clip, it said, first of all, when they were leaving the house, Betty said, yeah, here's his social security card. And then on the way down there, they said, what about not taking him without an ID? He said, they don't worry. They said it's not a problem. So no, there was no problem around that household about needing. So yeah, but if I take Timmy and I go out of state with him and with adoption papers, yeah, I'm going to need that stuff. And as a matter of fact, there's a point in this live stream on Monday, and it's at 1 hour and 1 minute and 51 seconds. He's showing these adoption papers that he had Timmy. He could have had Timmy if he wanted. And then, 5 minutes later, he said he got ripped off of Timmy. No, you just said you could have had him if you want. And then 5 minutes later, we're supposed to feel sorry for you because they double-crossed you. It was during the conversation when he found out he was banned from the hospital. And you know what? That video that he did on that day when I even wrote on here, on September 8th, the day that they were taken, he deleted that video. He went on and he said he pretended he just found out. He admitted that was a lie. He didn't find out he was involved with the whole, retraction or extraction or whatever they said. But if Eric sues content, he can't. I'm going to tell you why. In discovery, he wouldn't reveal financial. Yeah, here's why he's not going to. Because in order to sue somebody, they have to be slandering you of some things that aren't true. And I'm going to tell you about a civil attorney. A civil attorney. It is unethical for that civil attorney to accept a civil lawsuit that has zero chance of success. So if you have a case with zero chance of being won, your attorney can get in a lot of trouble. You can get his bar thing taken or whatever, his license. All right, because it's unethical for him to take a case that's got zero chance. Now, it's got a small chance of winning. Yeah, you can take it. But if there's no chance, and there's no chance that you can sue a content creator like me for saying that, I think this is weird and inappropriate for this grown-ass man to dress this handicapped individual, mentally challenged guy, into little baby pajamas and then put him in bed with him. You know, I got a clip. Well, I have to clip it and download it. But it was from the investigation of Michael Jackson. And there's an interview with an investigator, and that investigator says something like, think about this. Ask yourself, what's a 44-year-old man doing in bed with people, with these vulnerable, these children that he doesn't even know? And I thought, I need to clip that because Eric was 44 years old. Yeah, what is a 44-year-old man doing? And so, yeah, you want to sue me because I'm questioning why that is appropriate? Listen, if you sent your kid off to camp, okay? Your kid's like, I don't know, 10 or 12, whatever, and you send him off to camp, baseball camp or Boy Scout camp or summer camp, whatever, church camp, don't matter. And the kid comes back and says, yeah, he dressed me in baby pajamas and I slept in his bed all night. Yeah, the other kids were in the other room, but he let me sleep in his bed. What would you think? Would you be mad if somebody like me saying, wait a minute, why did that the kid? You know what I mean? So don't, they used to kill the messenger. Now they want to sue the messenger. No. I'll tell you what is slander, though. Slander is people lying about you. Saying things like, oh, this content creator over here, yeah, she makes fun of somebody's disease. Yeah, she makes fun of people's diseases. Really, there's not a single video ever of me ever doing that. They can come and subpoena every video I've ever done. I've never said anything. I've never made fun of somebody's disease. But another content creator kept saying that, and that right there is slander, and that I can sue for. Okay, because that's not true, and there's zero evidence of that. But if they sue me and say, hey, show me where Eric was in bed with this boy, I'll say, okay, here's about 45 different videos, here's about 120 clips, and here's some still shots, and here's some, here's some texts, and here's some more video where he's saying he's sleeping with him. Yeah, I can prove what I'm saying, unlike other content creators. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Miss January, good to see you tonight. Didn't Eric say Timmy is around age 10? Yeah, they kept changing that, but so if he's 10 years old, yeah, what in the hell is a 44-year-old doing in bed? Yeah, good to see you tonight, Miss January, Brooks and Gardens, Florida. Miss January, William, Starry Night, Pork Chops, Tina. Yeah, if you want me to specifically answer a question, put it in all caps. You thought he'd be well, they're just doing the indictments this month. And you know what's weird? That lady kind of snapped at me a little bit. I mean, not snapped. She was fine. But, yeah, she just said, why? What's it your business? Why do you want to know? How are you involved? I said, well, I'm not involved. Just, listen, it's out there. He's leading people on implying he'll be saying more. He just wants, that cliffhanger thing. And now it's got to be a mini series, an extended version of I guess it's the 2026 season of Whittaker Part 2, Season 2. Episode 1 through 50, where he repeats everything. He has too many commercials, too many repeats. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much you get for that, but he got a lot of views. Yeah. Yeah, they ran Eric out of the hospital and say, we'll take it from here, pal. You take your camera and get out. Well, I did the rules. Yeah, well, they're kind of done with you now. Your part is over, chump. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's going to be some state charges coming down there, Eric. Oh, and Charlie Kirk got shot today. See you later. Yep, have a good day. They probably had him stay in their office while the extraction happened. So yeah, right. Because he would love to videotape it. Yeah, we wouldn't even know how traumatizing really it was unless unless we saw it on that ring cam. We saw what happened with Timmy. You can imagine the rest of them. Larry told me, and I already heard kind of part of it, but he told me when they showed up on that Monday morning, he said he was in the bathtub taking a bath. He said he didn't have no clothes on. He's in there taking a bath. And all of a sudden, all these people come into the house, and they come right in the bathroom. And he said they told him to get up and get out of the tub. And he said he asked for something to cover up his privates. He said they just like get out of the tub, and they just it was those and Timmy took off running. Yeah, I don't know what the new one, he said, but now, like I said, at the beginning of this, at the beginning of all this first one on Monday, what did he say? I want to get this out there because, we just never know if we're not going to be here next week to speak, or, it could be tomorrow. Imagine if I came on here and said that. You guys, I just want to get this live stream out here because, you just never know. I might, in case I'm not here, you just never know about tomorrow. So I better put this out here. Yep. Yeah, he was supposed to. Well, he said, and you know what he said? Taking Timmy to Georgia for 2 weeks. He said it was to start out the first 2 weeks and see how it goes. And then he said, and it's going to be real hard when I have to bring him back. That's what he said. It's going to be real hard to have to bring him back because they already know he wasn't gonna, in my opinion. Yeah, Eric directions. Yeah. You would hear about his father giving directions when he was a preacher growing up. Yeah, just what a hot mess. But yes, we found out that he was absolutely confirmed that he was working with adult protection. And then you think he's live streaming for attorney costs? I don't know. You know what he had the nerve to say, in fact? And we've heard this story before. He said at 23 minutes and 27 seconds, he says, when I met Patrick, he was broke. He didn't even work, you guys. Wait a minute. You were broken. You didn't work. And matter of fact, he said he had been on a hiatus. Now he contradicted himself. One time he said he had to leave his busy dad talk podcast to come and do this. And the other time he said, and on the other day he said, it was basically he had abandoned the dad podcast. He said he had a hard time coming back to it. So he was on a very long hiatus. So he has said both. But what about Timmy Time 11 fraud? I don't think the fraud is the Timmy Time. Not at all. I think the fraud is people that sent gifts and stuff. Because how is Timmy Time fraud when it's on Facebook? And I think it's probably something Facebook offers, right? FaceTime. But and I, like I said, not even a month or two ago, I saw it up there. I saw the Timmy Time or something like that, and I clicked on it. Said this link is no longer in use or something. So it wasn't some underground organization like he said. He tried to make it sound like it was, Timmy's getting trafficked or something. I mean. Yeah. What Eric was mad about with the Timmy Time is that it was about the money. It's like oh yeah, You're getting a little, you're not giving me a cut of this, huh? Oh, so how much you making over here? It was about the money. If they were free videos of him talking about Timmy and putting it on the channel, he wouldn't have a problem. Kathy, they keep talking about needing permits. I live in a rural area, but odds far more rural, so I don't see them needing permits. Well, here's the thing. The Amish, and did you catch what he said? Oh man, he's trying to justify that Amish trip. He said they were going to. Okay, so now the bishop, he hasn't known the bishop 30 years. He just met the bishop at Robert Mann's house in Idaho a month before. No, wait a minute. You said you knew that bishop 30 years. Well, they said, so the bishop told, hey, why don't you try Ferrisburg, West Virginia? And if that don't work, then you can go drive over to Idaho and see if there's anybody over there. He said, yeah, we tried calling the guy on the phone. Well, John tried calling a few times, but they don't really answer their phones. So we just figured we'd just drive there and see if we could find somebody. Well, that's changed quite a bit. Kathy, what did the lawyer tell you on Monday? Did he? I was just kidding about lawyering up. I did not lawyer up on Monday. I was just kidding. I should have said that. I was just kidding. I did not get a lawyer for his live stream on Monday because, yeah, I don't need a lawyer. You can't sue me for telling the truth. You can sue me for making up stuff and representing it as true, especially if it pisses people off. Because I've had people come to my channel believing this lie a content creator tells me, has been telling everybody that I make fun of somebody's disease. Well, I've had people come attacking me on my channel because they believe I'm making fun of somebody's disease. That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit. Because there's not a one single time I've ever made fun of somebody's diseases. That is what you call a lawsuit. But and I ain't got no lawyer for that. Listen, I'm on my last, I'm almost done with my civil lawsuit. I have a trial date, and I've been in a suit for 6 years. It's coming to an end. So right now I got my hands full. No, I don't. I didn't get what I didn't. And here's the thing: why would Eric be representing himself if he's got an attorney? Why is he down in West Virginia driving with a broken down car with no gas in it and not representing himself? You know what I'm saying? And then his friend Jeff was trying to say how financial hardship this has been. Well, hey Sarah, good to see you. I didn't see you come in. Oh, hey Sarah, is that your first comment? I just saw you come in. Welcome, Sarah. Sarah said Eric even started the Cameo personalized videos with the family before Timmy time. I thought so, but I didn't say it because I didn't know. He started it and yet acts like Patrick committed the cardinal sin with Timmy time. Yes, he did. Good to see you tonight, Sarah. You just stopped on? All right, hey. Yeah. Well, good to see you tonight, Sarah. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, so how is the Timmy time the cardinal sin when he's got Timmy on the video all the time? You know what I mean? Even followed him right into the bathroom. What's worth, asking Timmy what he's doing on the toilet right now on a live stream, or what he likes to do in his spare time. Yeah, probably the gifts were meant for the Whittakers that was opened by someone else. And that would be fun. In fact, we saw it. I did a video on it where Patrick was driving down the road and he had just picked up the Whittakers. And Patrick was telling Betty, hey, Betty, you got a bunch of stuff delivered. She said, delivered where? He said, to my house. She said, oh, what is it? He said, well, yeah, he opened it up and one's a pair of boots for Timmy. One is in some coloring books or something. Betty's looking like, why are they going to your house and why'd you open them? You could see it right on her face. And I'm thinking, and there was some talk of some missing gift cards and all this other, people were sending gift cards and all kinds of stuff. And that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, so the whole reason to send it to Patrick's house so they wouldn't know where the Whittakers live. Like I said, you can put on Google Maps. Google Maps, you can type in Whittaker house, and there it is. Or where's Betty Whittaker live? And you know what? What's the difference? Oh, okay, you guys, we don't want you to know where Whittakers live because there's probably 3 people who don't, and we don't want those 3 people to know. So we're gonna have you mail it to the next door neighbor. Yeah, then you'll never figure out where they live. Okay, what's the difference when mail it to you or your next door neighbor? No, what would have been good would have been a post office box, and his post office box story changed. Now he spent a bunch of time with the post office people. Then why didn't you open up a post office box? He had months to do that. Eric did all this to get bringing. All right. Yeah, we're glad you're here, Sarah. Eric did all this to get Timmy and bring cash. Yeah, the cash cow back to Georgia. Yeah. He didn't think it all the way through because he's living in YouTube land where he thinks he's king of the, family courts on his channel. When he had cameos set up for people to buy personalized videos, just like Timmy Time, it was the same thing, right? Yeah, it was the money that Eric was furious about. He made it sound like it was a moral thing, like a breaking ethics or something. No, it was about the money. If Eric's not a suspect investigation, why is he driving 20 hours in a beat up Vidic? Well, and that, I guess it has something to do with the money. Now, remember, Larry told me in December that he was there. He was in the same courthouse with Eric, and he didn't know who was in the courthouse, but it was probably Eric. He thought maybe Eric's lawyer, who knows what it was. But of course, now we know that Larry wasn't allowed in the courtroom in December. I think it was the 9th or something like that. It was on a Friday, I think. Something like that. But Larry wasn't allowed in the courtroom probably because Eric's in there. Of course, they don't want that. And you know what kind of struck me kind of as very sad? Do I think Patrick will do prison time? Yeah, out of 11, just my personal opinion, out of 11 felonies, I'd be surprised if he didn't do something. I mean, even a year, But there is a minimum. So everyone if he's found guilty on any of the 11, there's a minimum on each one of those charges. And I have to go back and look. I think it's a year minimum on each one of the felonies. I'd have to go back and look. I already did a video. I never posted it. It explains like it. So it depends. For each one that he's found guilty, he'll get something. There is a minimum. And he's already on probation, so I don't think they give you more probation. Yeah, not sure. Doesn't Facebook say not to share stuff on children and disabled folks? Yeah, that Eric shared with us. You know what I'm kind of torn with is have you guys seen this guy out in California? I can't think of their names, but it's the guy who his dad has Alzheimer's. And he does a video like 3 times a day on his dad with Alzheimer's. In the morning when he's all confused. I mean, everything from showing his UTIs and telling his bathroom problems and trips. Everything. Now, how is that ethical either? The guy's got really severe dementia. Show him sundowning and just, his worst moments. So sometimes I wonder, how is that ethical? To show your dad all, You guys know who I'm talking about? The old man used to be a podiatrist or something, and his son is, anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. Where do you draw the line, on showing kids or vulnerable people? I don't know. Now, exploiting them. And when I read Patrick's charges and looked up each one of those statutes, It's very specific. You have to like in one of them, the fraud, I think it was, I can't remember, fraudulent schemes or something. It's promising somebody something and not delivering it. Like it, the things. Yeah, I can see Patrick doing all these things and qualifying, but I can also see Eric being guilty of the same things. Most of it. I think the only thing I can't say that Eric did that Patrick did was have presents sent to his house. I think that's the only difference between the two, in my opinion, is that Patrick interfered their gifts. You know what I mean? Eric just didn't care if they got gifts. In fact, he made sure there was no avenue for, you notice that? They didn't, Whittakers and all that whole summer never got an avenue to receive gifts except to go to Patrick's house. So I think that's the only difference. But in that statute, it said not only promising them things, but taking advantage of their money, and videotaping their shortcomings, their disabilities, exploiting their disabilities and their shortcomings for money. Yeah. So I don't know. Will he go to prison? It depends if he gets. I just don't see them because you guys know Creepalachia, right? The Creepalachia, his channel. Yeah, he was in the chat the other night. But he's got always a lot of good points too. But hold on, I'm reading something. His name is Dan. Whose name is Dan? Yeah, Eric had them sent to Patrick's house. Why? Because they didn't want everybody to know where the Whittakers lived. Well, it's your next door neighbor. I mean, why give the next door neighbor's address to protect the other neighbor? You know what I mean? Send them to Patrick's house. He's their next door neighbor. That way you'll never know where they live when everybody already knew. Yeah. Yeah. Plea bargain down. Yeah. And, people are thinking like, people were, I know what I was going to say about Creepalachia. He said that the prosecutor on this case, when Patrick got arrested, of course, they're going to show the prosecutor, right? He assured everybody that this prosecutor's got a very good record of winning his cases. This is a very experienced prosecutor that is that has charged Patrick with these 11 felonies. This guy is, like I said, he's got a good track record according to Creepalachia. He's local there. He knows these people. And so I doubt, somebody, a very good prosecutor, is going to lose out on all 11 felonies. They usually don't even charge unless they know they can win their case. But I doubt that man will lose all 11 of his. But you know what? I also doubt there's going to be a trial. Now, if there was, that'd be fun, man. That'd be a trial to go see, but I don't think so. I think there's going to be a plea agreement. I think Patrick's probably going to, my guess, it's probably going to take a plea. Because, man, if you add all this up consecutively and each felony, it could be 100 years or whatever, So they might add it up, and I don't know. But my guess is probably won't go all the way to trial. Imagine how that would be. Imagine the witness list on that trial. And you know what's weird? I'm going to tell you really what's weird. I have been checking the court records, and in both magistrate and circuit courts. And you know what I don't ever see? I don't see anything about Eric going to court. Eric's name does not come up anywhere in West Virginia of ever going to any court. Isn't that weird? If he's been going since December and he just went a month ago, so he's been up there a few times to the courthouse about this money. How come there's no record of it? There is nothing on Lawrence Eric Carroll in the magistrate or the circuit court. I'm thinking that's weird. And you know what else is nowhere to be found? Any of this restraining order stuff. Nothing. Not a pinata. Do you still talk to Larry? No, I haven't. I've not wanted to call. I just don't want to bother them. I think I'm pretty sure Larry and BJ are the only ones living there now on the property. We heard Betty's still living. I'm pretty sure in another state with the friend. I haven't talked to anybody for a few months, and last I heard they didn't get a visit yet. So I don't know. I'm hoping they do, but I don't know. Yep. Actually, BJ tried to contact me less than a week ago, and I missed the call. So, yeah. They'll plea bargain it down, the charge. Yeah, I think so. Yes, he gets really bad comments. People don't like. Yeah. Yep. Dan, the guy that videos his father. Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Yes, his name is Dan. I forgot the dad's name, but he used to be a podiatrist. But yeah. So how is that really? You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. It's helping other people, but I don't know. It's very vulnerable stuff you're showing about your dad. I just don't know. I don't think I would do that with my dad personally, but anyway, so Creepalacha is JD. Yeah, no, Dan is the guy with the Alzheimer channel. His dad's got dementia really bad. He's been on there for years, actually. Yeah, the dad who films his dad, Dan films his dad, with Alzheimer's, yeah. Yep. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. I knew it was a short one that started with a D. But yeah, they gave Patrick and Eric's address. Yeah. They gave Patrick's address. Yep. Sarah said Eric said that most of the counts against Patrick came from one single misappropriated donation from an old family member. That's not true. Eric was upset that Patrick hid the donation and spent it behind his back. That's the truth of it. The truth of it was Eric found out, Patrick was getting a little under the table money from this. Well, Patrick didn't report this money to Eric, and that's why Eric was mad. Bottom line. But no, it was one. But what I heard is that somebody from Australia, I think, on that Friday, I'll tell you what day it was. On Friday, September 5th, Eric announced to everybody in that morning that the Amish were going to agreed to build the house. And then he later said they didn't agree, they were going to pray on it. But John said that means we're going to interpret that as a yes. So Friday morning, Eric goes out and tells everybody that, on his post that the house is a go. We're going to build the house. And so people started sending in money. Well, during that day, they had the blow up. And it's funny because I think he wanted the blow up. And by the way, how come we never saw BJ in that camper? Was she even in the camper? We got to take his word for that too. But anyway, she had every right to. He had missed the restraining order. But yeah, but he had announced that, and then he went and called the deal off. So by probably 12 hours later, he's on late at night telling everybody the deal's off. Well, everybody had already, and some people didn't know that night, and they were still donating all weekend and after. But people were donating because they finally got the okay on the house. One person in particular, I think from Australia or New Zealand, I can't remember where, but they had given like, what was it, you guys? $2,000 or something? I can't remember. It was a very large donation. And then Eric calls it all off. But he was not only not refunding people from the house, but he was still taking in donations for like a week after he called everything off and quit. He was still doing videos, still taking the money. And little did we know, he was helping with the extraction and hospitalization of the Whittakers behind everybody's back, which kind of figured that, you know. They will offer Patrick a plea deal of 5 to 10 years on half the charges, but he'd have to testify against Eric. And that's the thing is right now, I think Eric is lashing out at the ones that he might have to be facing, because he's lashing out at Patrick, blaming Patrick, lashing out at the Whittakers, blaming the Whittakers, lashing out at adult protection, blaming adult protection. And when he said he went to adult protection, he said, "Hey, why am I being charged?" And they're like, they shrugged their shoulders like, "I don't know, we don't run the state patrol, people." Anyway. You sent Betty and family a Christmas card. Yeah, thank you. That was really nice of you, Brooks and Gardens. That was really nice. You're very kind and thoughtful. Really nice. Yeah, you can just look it up. What's Betty Whittaker's address? He'll tell you. Yeah, that was really nice. Yeah. I've seen them. Yeah. Oh man, it's a podiatrist. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, they show him in some really, moments, So, I think, and listen, by the way, he kicked Patrick to the curb that day. So how is Eric not responsible for taking in donations on an Amish house that never was to be? Patrick didn't even do that. You know what I mean? Now, you got to say one thing. Patrick took in the presents and opened them and whatever, allegedly, apparently. And Eric didn't do that. But on the flip side, Patrick didn't sit there and collect thousands and thousands of dollars for a house that was he just said wasn't going to be built. He told everybody the house was not going to be built, and then he collected money for said house for days on end. So I don't know, how's that not fraud? And did anybody get their money back? Nope, not that I know of. Did he offer anybody's money back? Nope, not that I know of. Yeah. So I don't know. I think he did things that even Patrick didn't do. But yeah, I think they'll offer him some type of plea deal. What's he doing with the money? Now, I don't know about that. It was about the money, though. One time it was. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, Audrey. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Grace just put up Creepalach's channel. There's a link to his channel. He's right there, you guys. He's the one that caught the perp walk. His friend, Jolene, or what was her name? Josie, I think. Yeah, they're the ones who caught the perp walk. But he's right there. He's right there in the area. He knows more than all of us about this stuff. If I heard him correctly, this was on one of the latest streams he made. What was Sarah? Oh, about the one. Oh, yeah. I'm going to have to listen again. Yeah, the daddy is Ed. Thank you, Justin. Yes, the dad's is Ed. Dan and Ed. And him and his wife argue over taking care of the dad. Just, yeah, sometimes we don't need to hear stuff. Yeah. He is minimizing his part. Now, I don't know if he's... See, in a way, because he said right at the beginning, he said, Yeah, I want to put some stuff out there because we just never know if we're not going to be able to speak the next day. We're not whatever he said. That sounds like wow, you kind of urgency to get your spin on things out there. You know what I mean? His narrative. He wants to put his narrative out there. I think in case this is my guess. I don't know. Maybe he's off the hook. I don't know. But they didn't tell me he's off the hook. Now listen. Okay, common sense, right? If I call down to the police in Beckley and I say, hey, is Eric still under investigation? And say he wasn't. Say they cut him loose a month ago. You know what I mean? Wouldn't they just say, no, he's not in investigation anymore? Because according to Eric, it was all some type of a big mix-up that he shouldn't have been on there. It was so funny. He said he went to his buddies at APS who are already giving him the shaft. And he said, hey, how am I getting charged? He said, hey, we don't run the state patrol. That's the moment that he knew he got double-crossed. Yeah. Well, he got double-crossed. He left at the part where the land across the street is airship. And yeah, he did. He tried to make it look like it wasn't going to work. And once you have done all that leg work before spending thousands, and now he's trying to make it sound like his friend Mark was there, and now he's not an emotional support animal. Now he's he was going to be the project manager. Oh, and I was going to say earlier, I forgot. Amish don't use permits, okay? They've never pulled a permit in their life, okay? Because we have Amish around here all over the place. And I talk with the Amish. They've been to my house. I've been to their house. I got my dog from the Amish. I buy from the Amish. They bought from me. My sister drove them around. So I know all about the Amish. But they don't pull permits. You know what they do around here? They're most likely to build a barn or a lean-to or a horse stall. You know what I mean? Because they don't use permits, right? And if they're going to build you a house, guess what? What did Eric say? Well, yeah, when we went down and got the permits, Mark knew all about that. And yeah, it turns out Amish don't use permits. Duh. How can you not? How about Robert Mast? How did Robert Mast not warn you? Oh, by the way, they don't use permits. And what did Eric say, his new thing? Well, we were going to have to get a building contractor, and have him do the work, and he can supervise the Amish. Okay, so now you're gonna hire contractors to build a house. So why do we need the Amish? Oh my gosh, this story just falls apart like a overcooked roast. Yeah, he did know from the beginning. That's what Patrick said. I have that clip. Yeah, nobody saw a penny on anything. Oh, Dan Sound. Yeah, I don't know. You don't have to put up his. I kind of feel bad for people watching him. Salinger, that's their last name. Yeah. But yeah, they're just showing how all his bathroom problems. I don't know. Okay, if I asked you right now, okay, when you get to be in your 90s and you've got severe dementia and you're pooping yourself and stuff and getting UTIs, you want us to videotape that every day? I'd say hell no. Hell no. Don't tape me like that. Jeez. Yeah. Most of the large donations came through his personal Whittaker Facebook streams. Yeah, he deleted it around I think it was the middle of December, maybe the 9th or 10th, I can't remember. Yeah. But that means he was getting checks all the way into January. Do you know that? So he got his December money in January. So he was getting money all the way up until January. Where's all that money? Or it could have been changed, Betty and Timmy. Yeah, it could have. And now he's acting like, oh, it's such a shame that Betty lost her family. What are you talking about? You're the one who made sure it happened. Now it's their fault? Yeah, saying, but yeah, so I'm going to be putting out a video. I'm going to be showing you guys a text message that Eric wrote that said, just do whatever she want, do it. And this was in July, you guys, before Eric's second visit. He already had planned to get rid of him, and Patrick already planned to get rid of BJ. Just tell her whatever she wants to hear. She's going to be gone pretty soon. We won't have to worry about her. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's July. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I don't remember you have it. Yeah, Eric did have big plans. He thought he was going to, run some kind of carnival act. And here's the funny thing. And here's why he did not think this out. Because, I mean, if you bring the county workers in there to examine your life, they're going to say, yeah, the house is dirty and all that stuff. Maybe they need to go, maybe they don't, whatever. But what he didn't think out all the way, though, is that if you took custody of Timmy, say, do you really think they're not going to tell you that you can't be videotaping him? No more videos. In fact, that's what the lady said. He said, first time it was the day they got taken, that Monday. Yep, he was the hero. Helped them with the extraction, all that stuff. And here's the sad thing that I didn't think of until, I mean, I did think of it, but it really didn't hit me. Remember Eric, I think it was yesterday, he showed how he normally gives these type of hugs. Okay, these type of hugs. Normally he hugs Timmy like this. But once they got extracted and they were freaked the hell out, and they were all down at the hospital, Timmy, Ray, and Lorraine are at the hospital, they were all freaking out, having a really hard time. Imagine that. And then they said, Eric, you can go down to the hospital now. They're all there. So Eric said he went in there, and Timmy gave him a really hard squeeze hug and I thought, oh my gosh, it made me sick to my stomach. He hugged me like this. Normally it's like this, but this time it was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, how sick that made me to think that they just went, listen, they're sitting there, Timmy, Ray, and Lorraine. Think of it from their point of view. They're sitting there on a beautiful morning, a beautiful September morning. Things are good, right? And all of a sudden these police cars pull up and they start grabbing, and everybody's screaming, and they're pulling Larry out of the bathtub, and Betty doesn't know what the hell is going on, and Timmy takes off running. And I think one of his shoes even came off, or both, or whatever. He took off running. So they, wrangled up Ray, and they wrangled up Lorraine, and whatever. Then they all go up and they get Timmy, all right? But they're all off in ambulance, separate, strapped to gurneys. They're strapped down because they're going to fight. Of course they are. And so they're traumatized. It's like, it's like the military coming in or police coming in. And they kick your door, and they grab your grandma, and they grab your aunt, and they grab your nephew, and they strap them down against your will. You're hauled away. Now they're brought to the hospital. They don't know any of these people. They don't know any of these people. And they're there for hours and hours, and they don't know what they're saying. It's like they're in Russia or Mexico or somewhere where they don't speak the same language. Nobody knows what they're... Anyway, and then here comes Eric, the guy the only guy that they see. Of course he's going to go and hug him. He's the first person he's seen all day that he recognizes. Oh, if you just get sick thinking about it, how traumatized those three would have been. They don't know any of these people. They don't know why they're being hauled away, where they're going, where are we, who are these people? And then when Eric, of course he's going to hug him. He's like the first person he's seen all day that he recognizes. You know what I mean? Traumatizing. It's too bad the Whittakers couldn't get a civil attorney and sue him. You know what I mean? I think so. So all of them. There is that civil attorney that is in Beckley. I wish he would get notice and take the case. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Red. Yeah, the people that they think are illegal, they just come in and grab them because they think you're, ICE agents think you're illegal, so they grab you and haul you away, and nobody speaks your language. I mean, yeah, and then finally you see somebody whether you like him or not, at least you recognize him. Yeah, he was used like a toy. Anyway, how traumatizing. Hey, Red, good to see you tonight. Hope you're feeling well. Hope everybody's doing great. Yeah, it's sad because Timmy had no clue Eric set this up and changed his life. Yeah, he had no clue during the whole time before and during and after. Timmy had no clue that Eric was going to do this and that he's the one that set up the extraction. You know what I mean? Yeah. I wonder who gets I'll tell you who gets it. The Whittaker 17 acres. The thing is that property is in about 20 different people's names. That property has been handed down through the patriarchs and the matriarchs or whatever. So the parents and the grandparents, whatever, they had handed this down. So it's in lots of different people's names. And some of the people might not even, you can't get a hold of. Some people might not even been alive anymore. But there are many, many family members on that property deed. So there's no way you can sell it or anything like that. And that's meant so it will always be in the family. Yeah, it will stay just like it is. That's right. It will always be in their family because no one person can sell it. Not one person can sell it. You know what I mean? You have to get everybody's signatures to sell that, and it would never happen. Yeah. It'll be just like it is 50 years from now, right? The one trailer might be caved in or burned down, but there'll be another one. He needed all of Timmy's information, exactly. And I said it from the beginning. Why you want his birth certificate, social security card? Yep. Oh, and by the way, all right, so in this video, at 1 hour and 1 minute and 51 seconds, he pulls out these adoption papers with sticky notes on them, what to do. Note what he says. Now, he's trying to tell us that they filled out all these papers and handed it to him, and he was just so shocked. But what did he say? The first thing on there at 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 30 seconds, you know what he says? Yeah, it says right here, these papers were filled out by the petitioner. Okay, Eric, that's you. You're the petitioner. It says you read it. He read it out loud. These papers have been filled out and signed by the petitioner. That's not adult protection. What else did it say? That petitioner had had completed mandated education. He had read the conservator handbook. He had a report from the psychologist. He had an affidavit for hearing. He goes, I don't know what hearing they're talking about. An affidavit for the hearing. He had age and disability waiver program. He had a statement of his financial resources that he could care for him. He had both the ladies' cards. And they get to go. And these ladies, do you see how angry he is with these women, the adult protection, those women that came? He said, yeah, I got their cards. Guess what? These women, yeah, they get to stay anonymous. Yeah, they can sleep at night. They can sleep in their own bed. They don't have to worry about nothing. Like, okay, calm down, Eric. Isn't it sad when the backstabber gets backstabbed himself? Yeah. As he said it more than once. He said it on both live streams. Yeah, these women, yeah, they get to go home. They get to remain anonymous. Their life gets to stay the same. They don't have to be harassed. They don't have to be attacked. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was going off on these women that didn't hand over Timmy after the extraction. Yeah. Yeah, and what's with these 100 911 calls? And you know what? I have a copy of Eric, of the post he made. Yeah, you guys wouldn't believe it last night. The cops came over and they said, hey, we've had a bunch of 911 calls out of this resident. Who's in here? He said, just me. I'm here by myself. And then the cop says, anybody else with you? And he said, oh yeah, Timmy, he's here. Like, who said, listen, the cops come to my door and I got Timmy in the back room and they say, hey, is anybody else here? I'd say, yeah, Timmy's in the back room. Why would I say, no, nobody's here? That's weird. You thought Betty needed help with reading and writing. You know what's interesting? Betty did drop out real early, and I'm not sure how many of them reading and write. So I was looking at these. I FOIA'd some court records, right? And I ended up paying for a bunch of court records that weren't even relevant. And one of the court records I paid for that really wasn't relevant was something about Kenny. Because it's new. It's a new Kenny's. There's a new case that Kenny filed. He's suing about that shed. Remember that shed that he bought that he lives in? The shed that he got on payments. I even did a video about it. I think it was $200 a month or something. He made some payments. Anyway, he's got this lawsuit because he thought it had it paid off, and then they said no, you got whole bunch of more payments, and so he's suing them because Whittaker's claiming he's illiterate. He doesn't know how to read or write. And I thought, that's weird. Why would Kenny not know how to read or write? But Betty said she dropped out at 12 or something, or whatever it was. And so I don't know how many of them know how to read or write. I think Larry might. I think Larry does. But I don't know. BJ knows how to read and write, but the rest of them, I don't know if any of the rest of them do. Now, Timmy can write his name and he can read. I've seen him do word search puzzles. So obviously he can read. He can read, he can write. Yeah, but anyway, even Kenny was illiterate. Yeah. When Eric doesn't get his way, he retaliates. Yes, he does. And that angry, those videos where he was just furious. Like somebody videotapes before they go on a rampage. I mean, Eric also has to get a lawyer that can go straight to state, that could practice in different states. Yeah, that is true. Now, if he gets a lawyer in Georgia, they might be able to do a Zoom court. Some courts have a Zoom meetings you can do, and some courts don't. But yeah, you would have and that's another thing. That's another complaint he had. Remember, Eric said that when the 3 got taken, the state said that they appointed the best 3 attorneys. Timmy got his own attorney. Ray got his own attorney. Lorraine got her own attorney. The 3 best attorneys in the state. And he acted like he got left, chopped liver. He says, there was nothing left. Like he got ripped off there too. They got the 3 best lawyers in the state, apparently. Like F. Lee Bailey and, Johnny Cochran or something. Just weird. Like he even got ripped off there. So by the time he tried to get a lawyer, there wasn't any. Here's something, I don't know. Yeah, but if he does, yeah, so he has to have your attorney practices in your state, right? Sometimes, like my attorney also practices in not just Minnesota. My attorney also practices in Wisconsin. So you have to ask your attorney, what states do you practice in? So, if I'm gonna sue somebody in West Virginia, I have to make sure my attorney is licensed there to practice, and also or get one that's there, whatever. It's kind of a pain, but a lot of times they can do the Zoom call or whatever. They don't all have it though. Eric was saying that he reported Patrick for suspicious behavior. Yeah. And okay, so yeah, how is painting his toenails any more suspicious than putting him in baby pajamas and onesies and tucking him in bed with you? I mean, who's that's the pot calling the kettle black. Eric calls this type of false accusation the silver bullet to get the upper hand in court. Oh, put out the accusations and then let them fight the accusations while you fight them. They were supposed to actually put a protective order on Timmy because some things have come out Eric supposedly had done, in my opinion. Really? Where did you hear about the protective order? Well, they did cut him off after a couple days. You know what I mean? And it's too damn bad. If it's like working undercover as a drug informant and then getting mad when after the bust and then the police or whatever are done with you. Because there's a guy on YouTube who brags about helping the Florida Coast Guard get 100 pounds of coke. But he said after the bust was over, they were treating him like a king. But after the bust was over, they act like they didn't know him anymore. I'm like, duh. Grace knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. Who had Timmy in pajamas and giving him 2 showers a day too? I think that's really unnecessary. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna, that line of work, being a snitch and undercover, what do you expect? Watch that movie, The Mechanic, with Charles Bronson. You'll see what I'm talking about. The silver bullet, huh? Yeah. Exactly what they did to white boy Rick. I don't know who that is, but I mean, so that just shows you it's common. This is how the police might. Now, I don't know if this is always happens, but the police will use the people. This is what he said. They'll be nice to you, and then after they treated them. What do you say, Grace? Like it is their best friends or something, and then after the bust, they didn't have time for him or something. What do you expect? Yeah. This is what he talks about mothers doing to fathers in court, and he's doing it to Patrick. Yeah, he's following his own little handbook there, isn't he? I'm curious if you took Timmy to buy pajamas and he picked out cartoon. Would you tell him he couldn't have them? No, I wouldn't tell him he couldn't have them, but I wouldn't be laying in bed with him wearing them, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping they would see what's going on down at the courthouse. Like, are they really going to fall for Eric's, his good guy act and all that? Because, yeah, suspicious as all hell. If that were the case, I would have it on camera. Yeah. It's just, it's just a bad look, man. It's just a bad look. But I think he tried to make Timmy look like a little baby because he knew that the adoption people were watching, and he kept saying, "Hey, they told me they're watching, and I'm doing good. And look, I showed them how to do hygiene stuff, and telling them how to eat cupcakes or whatever." Yeah. And then they said that they failed. APS failed after he didn't get Timmy. Now he said that they failed. Yeah, I shouldn't put yourself in that position. Just listen, just the fact. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Guardian ad litem. Yeah, they're the ones that get the lawyer or whatever. They are the lawyers or something. Yeah, the guardian ad litem represents either the children or the disabled people. The people who don't take care of themselves, the dependents or whatever. Yeah. And I don't know if they get the best in the state. I don't know. I really don't know what that part meant. Anyway. But yeah, I got some other videos I want to put out that kind of goes with this. I've always said if I was Eric's wife, I would be livid with Eric for some of his activities with Timmy. Yeah. And the thing is, yeah, he's not even at home with his own kids all summer. You know what I mean? Anyway, I think he's got little children that live at home. We know for sure he's got, a couple kids. So. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. You ever see somebody trying to rewrite history? Somebody tried to, even though we all saw what happened, they try to come out and convince everybody, no, that didn't happen. Not at all. That never happened. It was this way. No. Not only that, but you videotape, But yeah, on his very first trip out there, I believe that he saw what was going on. He thought, wow, this is going to be easy. I believe that he wanted to get rid of Patrick. Just have the adult protection, tell him to stay away from Timmy. And then he can do it all by himself. And then ace out BJ. She's asking, where's this money? Erica's not going to jail, boss man. Well, tell us your thoughts on that. Why is he not going to jail? I mean, he did do a lot of the things that Patrick is accused of, word for word, like promising money and taking advantage and videotape shortcomings and disabilities. Yes, boss man. Is the investigation over? I'm just curious because I called myself and found out pretty much it's not to ask. I recommend not calling down there. I take it as a no, it's not over. Be prepared to answer some questions. Yeah, I just wanted to know because, we're invested. And I called last fall and dropped a dime on Jeff and said some other stuff. And and now he's saying that he's never been a suspect. And his friend Jeff, him and his friend Jeff are saying that, they were never a suspect. This is just a big mix-up. Well, of course we're going to want to know. And what am I going to do? Am I going to take the words of all these people that I can't agree? No, I'm going to go right to the source. And I don't think it's unreasonable for me to call there and say, hey, is this investigation still going or not? Because you said it was, and I haven't seen anything put out. And she said, well, when we have news, we'll put something out. When they're ready to tell us, they'll put something out. Basically, is what she said. And I get that. Yeah, they can't tell us right now. When they're ready to speak, they'll tell us. Mm-hmm. Yes, Red, but it's his daughters and the mothers of his children that are getting hurt, especially his youngest, 8 years old. His older girls are graduating this year and next. Yeah. That's right, Sarah. Yep. Yeah, 8, that's a baby. 8 years old is still a baby. Yeah. You'll be shocked if Eric is charged? Well, I think some people were shocked when Patrick was charged, right? Is that fair to say? I mean, I kind of thought they were both going to get charged, but it was still kind of a little shocking to see it. I mean, see the perp walk and the handcuffs and I think that was Gilkison. I think that was Corporal Gilkison. He's also called Trooper Gilkison. So I think that was Mr. Gilkison that was walking Patrick to the car, I would imagine. Like, when you bag a deer, that's his catch. and so it was a little bit shocking to see Patrick charged, to be honest. And even though I was kind of expecting it, was still kind of a little bit shocking. Yeah. He said he came into it, to be an assistant. He said, I never wanted to be on camera. Well, it took one time on camera, and you couldn't get that thing out of his face after that. That wasn't him? What wasn't him? It wasn't him? Oh, that wasn't Corporal Gilkison that was walking him to the car? Oh, I thought maybe it was. No, it wasn't? Okay. I figured the guy who led the investigation would be the one that cuffed and stuffed, just out of formality, I guess. But maybe maybe he was just a bailiff or something. He's older. The Corporal Gilkison's older. Yeah. Maybe it was just a bailiff out of the courthouse or something. Eric couldn't stand Patrick getting the glory. He had to be. Yeah, right? It did kind of seem that way. From the time it was Patrick and Eric meet Patrick. You know what I noticed from that first video when it said Patrick and Eric? Did you notice when they were talking about how Timmy went up and met Patrick, and Patrick said, get over here, and then all of a sudden Timmy knew how to run the sawmill or something. And but he said, I feel like his daddy here. And he said, yeah, he kind of is like a dad, huh? He goes, oh, I'm not his dad, but I'd proudly be his daddy or something. And then I could just see in Eric's face, Eric's thinking, I want to be the daddy. And then after that, they both wanted to be the daddy. And it was so talked about that they were even going to do T-shirts called Two Timmys and a Dad. Yeah, they were going to co-parent. Remember? Handing off babies will be it's like handing off babies. I'll take Timmy for a week and I'll hand him off, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, he's not up for adoption. How are you gonna hand off? Timmy's not a baby. He's not up for adoption. Like, I don't know. Yeah, bizarre. Both wanted to be his daddy because, they saw the potential. And you know what's really, really weird? Here's a weird thing. Is how it flipped. Because, shit. If you guys remember, if you've been watching Soft White Underbelly, when the Whittakers were doing on his channel, so if you go back to the old videos where they first started going over to the Whittakers, Timmy was kind of shy or whatever, but he would like kick the dogs and push the dogs and hit the dogs, and he was kind of mean to the dogs. And so there's a lot of comments in them very old videos where they're saying, yeah, why is Timmy being so mean to the dogs? And Timmy really was not a favorite at all. I can't even remember. I would say maybe Ray was the favorite. I'm not sure. But by no means was Timmy ever the favorite. In fact, there's a lot of people were kind of upset how he's being mean to the dogs all the time. And hitting them, kicking them. And so he went from kind of the least like to the most like overnight. So Patrick, brought him fishing and I don't know, did some mud stuff with him or whatever. And all of a sudden Timmy was really likable, and nobody can deny that that's where the money was. And Eric said it himself. He said, out of all three adopting, I'd like to adopt all three, but Timmy's the only one I can adopt. He's the easiest. I can just do videos with him, and when I'm done, I can put him in a corner with a bologna sandwich and said, get over there. And I can go and I can do my Facebook stuff. Yeah, he's the easiest. The other two are too much work. He said that, and I made a video about it. Yep. So it was real obvious that the favorite was Timmy. The money is Timmy. Yeah, the rest are good for cameos and background, but filler. But yeah, Timmy was where the money was. It was obvious. Does anyone know if they settled? Eric mentioned in November. Yeah, Betty was talking to his attorney, and Patrick had all the money. Yeah, so that was at Thanksgiving. Remember, it was a Thanksgiving. It was a Thanksgiving video that he put out. He was with his family, having a good time, frying a turkey or something. But yeah, he said that his attorney. He said that Betty and Larry talked to his attorney, and they're going to pay him the money. Well, I talked to Larry in the middle of December, maybe late December. Larry said no, they never got a penny, because some rumors started circulating that Betty and Larry got all this money and blah blah. They're all spending it and buying new cars and shit. And all these rumors. And when I asked Larry about it, he got pissed. He said, "Hell no, we didn't get no money. Tell people to stop saying that." No, he was pissed, and they were broke. They didn't have firewood or nothing. So no, they didn't. As of December, they didn't get no money. So no, they didn't get. There was no Thanksgiving check cut. And who even knows? Does he have an attorney? Because he just said, I gave the timestamp. He said, yeah, I'm doing all this representing myself. So I don't know if he had an attorney. Money ran out. I don't know. Attorneys aren't cheap. Yeah. Yeah, they were going to co-parent, handing off babies. Yeah, he'd have them a week, and then he'd have them a week. Yeah, so no, and then nobody, at last I heard nobody got no money. And in fact, in December 9th or whatever that day was, on a Friday when they were in court, it was about the money. So I don't know what happened to the money. I think he can't talk about that. I don't know. I knew from the gate that Eric couldn't co-parent with anyone. Yeah, right? You'd know. You'd know about that. And it wouldn't work for the two dads and the Timmy. No. Because, listen, Eric already knew Patrick's record. And with a fresh, some fresh cases on Patrick's record. In fact, he just pled guilty in July during all their fiasco. So I believe that Eric thought it was going to be easy to knock Patrick out. You know what I mean? Real easy to knock him out. Between his record and his behavior, yeah, he could probably talk APS into blocking Patrick out of the picture. I think he eventually did. Yeah, so I don't know. You notice he doesn't say anything about the money. He doesn't say anything. Who's telling you not to talk? And if they're telling you not to talk, then why are you talking? And why did you talk 3 months ago when they told you not to talk then? Whoever is telling you not to talk must not be paying attention, because you're talking a lot. Yeah. Before the three were taken, I always wondered what was supposed to happen when Timmy, his aunt and uncles passed. Were BJ, Jason, and John supposed to take care of him? Well, here's the thing. You could probably make a case. Hey, Patrick, good to see you tonight, Prelima. Yeah, hey, James. Yeah, there is no comments on the lives afterward. That's weird. Yeah. Ask Justin about May Day when he said King Eric would be arrested. Not going to happen. Well, you can ask him, because here I'm going to tell you. People need to stop holding me responsible for what other people said. Hold me responsible for what I say, okay? And what I do on my channel. All right? Don't hold me responsible for what other people on their channels do. They ain't fair, and I'm not holding anybody else. You gotta count for yourself. Yep. Yeah, she said that they will announce when the official investigation's over. Why? Because I said, okay, before she was going to hang up, and I said, wait, I just want to know one more thing. Are we going to know when this is all over? She said, yeah, they'll put something out. So, yeah. So there's absolutely no comments. Yeah. With that many, 10,000 views and no comments. Remember there used to be a channel called 1 million videos. No, 1 million subscribers and no content or something like that. There used to be somebody with that channel. So many channels lately have artificial narrator voices. Yeah, that is weird. That's really anonymous. But I tell you, even those AI, they said, well, it's just AI, right? Maybe the robot's talking, but somebody had to make that YouTube channel. A human had to make the channel. A human had to sign up for monetization. A human had to get approved by AdSense. A human had to fill out a tax form and give your real name and address and shit. So, yeah, robots might be talking, but somebody's doing all the legwork and uploading these videos and taking in the money. Yep. Why is Eric always so upset and act like he's going to cry? He's so fat. Yeah. He's a little drama queen, a little drama queenish, if you ask me. He always does look like he's going to cry. Well, he wants people to feel sorry. And, you know, some people do. Yeah, it is still May. No, it's still May. And, yeah, they are rolling out some names of some people. You know what if you look it up about the indictments in May, it said that they're focusing on mostly, rug trafficking and fraud cases. I thought that was interesting. His comments are held for review. He does it on purpose. Yeah, his review. His live was crazy. Yeah. Not as many people came on the second one because he was just repeating so much stuff. And, you know, everybody's waiting for this big news. You know. Waiting for Kathy to get sued. Yeah. Restricting comments is dirty etiquette. Yeah. Yeah, I agree too. Let them all go. There's people on my last video that 2 videos ago that said I promised me I was gonna, and Eric was gonna announce he's gonna sue me. Yeah, I guess so. I was excited. It was this is excited I was here. It was just as good as chances that he was going to tell us he gave the money back. So, yeah, it wasn't going to happen. None of it. Yeah. And here's the thing, you guys. Not only is Operation BJ important because BJ was noticing that her family's not getting paid, but also think about this. If the family's house is condemned or they're taken away, somehow Betty and Larry are deemed irresponsible or whatever, you still got BJ, and there's no reason why BJ couldn't have taken care of Timmy herself. They've lived. Why am I going on and is this thing shutting down? Hold on a second. It looked like it said I'm live. I thought I was live. Yeah, he always claims he's breaking his silence. He's never shared his side before. Well, he's got his breaking his silence stream still up from 3 months ago. How many times you gotta break your silence? Yeah, he does blame everybody. It's everybody's fault. And I hate that when people can't, everything. Down to the smallest little thing is still somebody else's fault. Like a cop to something. Well, he did. He finally admitted that he lied about not being involved in the extraction. Yeah, he was. Why would APS give Timmy to an addict? Well, it's a family member. And you know what? She's never had any type of violence on her record at all. And how do we know she's still in active addiction? We don't know. We don't know. She was on Suboxone last time we saw her. Yeah. But they already live together, so yeah, it's not like she's been deemed incompetent or nothing, you know. But yeah, because they already live together. Yeah. Yeah. Well, in that case, I mean, yeah. I don't know if there's any innocent, anybody that's not on something over there. I'm not a content creator, so I'm sure there's some reasons to review comments. Yeah, some channels get out of hand and like racial stuff, anything that's gonna violate terms of service. Like you can't be saying racial slurs and threats, and there's things that YouTube doesn't tolerate. They got rules for. So if you're gonna break, if you got people with a habit of breaking YouTube terms of service, then yeah, you gotta make sure they don't say certain words, Oh, hey, Patrick. Yeah. Eric had to control 90% of the money. I do not know how Patrick got in more trouble, right? And yeah, if you go through those statutes that Patrick got charged with, it sounds word for word everything Eric did too. So I don't think I'll be shocked if Eric gets arrested. I think I'll be more shocked if he doesn't get arrested, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, let me see if there's anything I want to. I could go for hours on this, but I just kind of wanted to hit on a few of these things, and he was wrong on some of the times too. He keeps saying, "You guys thought I went back to Georgia, but I didn't." No, we didn't think you went back to Georgia because he made videos right up to the day Charlie Kirk died, and that was, according to him, that was the 10th, 2 days after the family was taken. So, there's karma too. If it does happen to be, if Eric gets by without getting charged for anything, you guys, that means that karma doesn't really. Karma's got something else in mind. Let's put it that way, okay? It just means karma doesn't have jail in mind for Eric's payback, okay? Yep. Eric told Larry and Betty early on he has a connection. He knows Hulk Hogan's agent and BJ, and can get BJ in a rehab for free. Okay, yeah, but I did a video on that. But I'm going to say something about that. Eric is not qualified to assess BJ and determine whether she needs treatment or not. Because besides that, you have inpatient treatment, you have outpatient treatment, you have short-term treatment, you have long-term treatment. They got a 30-day treatment, they got 90-day treatments. There's all different, not only do you need treatment or not, but what type of treatment. He's not qualified for that. He's not qualified to go into somebody's house and say, you need treatment. And you know what? Before any of that, I told you guys, I have a text message from Eric to Patrick saying, tell her whatever she wants to hear because we're getting rid of her. She'll be gone soon and we won't have to worry about her. Yeah, that was before any of this. That was after his first visit. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that's proof right there that he came in and then he did one thing after the next. He did the copper thing. Then Larry bailed him out. Then he's mad at her and Larry. Right? Then they did the fake eviction. That didn't work. Then they did the restraining order. That didn't work. Restraining order didn't work. Restraining order did work. I mean, he was hell-bent on getting her gone. And what did he say? She needs to leave. She just needs to be gone. Okay, who are you? Who the hell are you? to come into somebody's family and point, you have to leave. You can't live here. You need to go to treatment. You need this. No, he's not qualified to make those. Patrick caught Eric on phone with BJ. Yeah. And you know what? That's the same day. That's the same day. They started getting a little upset at each other. He said, hey, just tell her what she wants to hear. Pretty soon she'll be gone. We won't have to deal with her. That was the same day there in Florida. Yeah. Karma is real. That is one reason I'm not right. Listen, I always know karma is real, and that's why I don't do shit that I don't want people doing to me. I don't take from people. I don't steal. I don't lie. I don't do horrible things because I'm scared it's going to happen to me. I'm scared of getting punished, to be honest. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew God was watching, and mostly I was a good kid because I didn't want to get in trouble. You always know you're being watched. Yeah. Yeah, I'm scared of karma too. But there's good karma too. You know what dharma is? There's a Hindu thing, it's dharma. But anyway, don't worry. There's good karma. And good karma, you also get good karma. So say this last 6 months, you've done so good and you've done everything from your heart and all your good deeds and all that stuff and all your kindness and thoughtfulness for other people. Every once in a while, you'll get a reward. It's like a bank account, right? It's like a bank account, a savings account. You put in and you withdraw. And every once in a while, you get ka-ching. Karma will reward you. You think, dang, I can't believe that happened. That's awesome. And you think, oh, yeah, that is kind of showing me. Yeah. It is. You reap what you sow. That's right. There's all types of Bible scriptures that basically allude to basically what karma is. Listen to my dogs. It's terrible. They're so loud. Yeah, good karma. What you put out, you get back. That's right. You put out wicked, evil stuff, you're going to get wicked, evil things done to you. You put out, evil and darkness, you're going to get evil and darkness back. But you put out good things. Be a good person. Have a good heart. You get back good things. That's absolutely. You reap what you sow. That's right. Whatever seed you put in the ground, you expect that to grow. You don't plant a pumpkin seed and think you're going to get an apple tree, Mm-hmm. Yep, stay out of trouble. That's right. That's right. Yeah, and there's times that come around. Sometimes it's the planets. Sometimes it's your zodiac. Sometimes everybody... But there's certain times where karma gets paid out. And you'll see it. You'll see on the news a bunch of people getting caught. You'll see waves and trends of things of people. I mean, it's kind of cool once you learn about it. Kathy, if you found out the money was accounted for being held for the Whittakers and things went on in that home that were absolutely horrible, would you still feel the same about Eric? Yeah, nothing's going to change my mind about Eric. Because, he could give the money back and all that, but Eric never told us about horrible things that went on. He didn't. Supposedly, Lorraine had a bee sting, but the next day he said it was a shoe injury. Anyway, we've never heard any horrible stories. None. So yeah, it's not like Eric can say, see, I told you the truth came out. This happened, that happened. All we've heard is a shoe got thrown at the dog and hit Timmy. BJ took the phone and wouldn't give it back. That's all we've heard. Oh, and BJ's old boyfriend hurt Timmy or Ray or something. But wait a minute. She's been with her boyfriend now for 20 years. So these old boyfriends would have had been more than 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if it's an old boyfriend, that's over 20 years ago. She doesn't have old boyfriends. Yes, people do give off energy without saying anything. You know what? That's the thing. You know how somebody's angry and they can make you angry and somebody can ruin your day? You know what? You've heard people say, I'm matching their energy. I'm going to match their energy. No, don't match somebody's energy when they're upset. No, don't match anybody's energy. Nope. Ain't matching that energy. Keep that crap to yourself. Yeah. Yeah, what was on camera is forever. That's right. We saw the nasty, horrible things. It's not like, okay, you could take away 3 things. You still got 500 things, you know? Yeah. But maybe he didn't know why they were taking. Yeah, he helped them. It was his stuff. It was all his lame ass. I mean, I thought they had the weakest case ever. Okay. Now, people say, well, you want Ray sitting in his shit all day long? For number one, I don't believe it for a second. He didn't have any rashes or anything that said he was sitting in silage all day. But okay. Say he was. Why does Lorraine need to be taken? Why does Timmy need to be taken? They're not sitting in poop all day. What's their excuse? Why do they have to be taken? They all three need to be taken because Ray pooped his pants. Like, wait, no, that's not how it works. Then that's a good question, right back at you. Sarah says, ridiculous. If you found out things that Eric has done that's horrible, would you still defend him so hard? That's right. You could flip it around and say that. If you find out that all the things we suspect about Eric is true, would you still... That's right. Yeah. I don't think she's a disgruntled ex at all. I appreciate critical thinking and questioning. Yeah, devil's advocate. Yeah, you know, they say a sign of an intelligent person is somebody who questions everything. You should question everything. A sign of very low IQ is somebody that never questions anything. Just believe it. Yeah, but intelligence shows that they question everything. I question everything. Yep. Because by now we should know that you can't believe what you see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch it there, boss man. She doesn't want to believe me, Sarah does not want to get back with Eric. I promise. Would you? Yep. Hey, Tina. Yeah, karma is real. And karma knows where you live. They always are watching. It's the universe. And, yeah. And, like I said, the Bible does say things like anything done in the dark will be brought into the light. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't hide and you can't, Yep. Eric took Timmy for the BJ accusations, not Lorraine or Ray. So why take them? That is true. And that's another thing. He was trying to build a case for each one of them. Okay, so Timmy is supposedly getting hit with the shoe. Lorraine got a bee sting nobody cares about, and Ray pooped his pants. So he was trying to build a case for each one of them to be taken. But really, you can just, and you can't say just get Ray some diapers. They gave him diapers. And he walked in the kitchen, dropped his pants, kicked that diaper off, and he walked away and got his old pants. We saw it. And they even laughed. They go, he just kicked his diaper off. Yeah, they tried the diaper thing. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she's been nothing but respectful. That's right. Yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah, nobody wants Eric back, I promise. There's probably not a single ex that wants him back. It's not about Eric and Patrick. I think it's all about Eric and Patrick. Sarah says, ridiculous. Let's chat then. I have evidence for everything I conclude about Eric regarding the Whittaker case and our daughter. I also have evidence of horrible things he's done that I don't share. Yes, Sarah is going to have her chance to speak. So yeah, I'm going to give Sarah and I have talked. I'm going to give her a platform, and she's going to be coming out pretty soon. And she's going to have a chance to speak. Why shouldn't she? Eric gets up there and says his side of the story. Why shouldn't she have her side of the story? Thank you, Patrick. Thanks for being here. Patrick's been with us for many years, preliminary here. He's been with us for years. And we've been on real late. We've been on at 3 a.m. Yeah. Anyway, and speaking of late, yeah, it is going on midnight. I should probably get off of here. I don't want to. Anyway, bore people. Yeah. Check out Patrick's channel. He does artwork. He's an artist. Brooks says, please share, Red. There are things that have nothing to do with that have been seen and known about for years. But by whom? Because, we've heard all kinds of rumors. But listen, Adult Protection knew where they lived. They've been in the same house for, 75 years? And they could have gotten them at any time. It wasn't until, and Eric even said, oh, this is getting out of hand. Everybody has, everybody's been calling us. We got to do something. We're forced. We're forced to take these people and extract them from their home because Eric gaslit everybody. In my opinion, he gaslit an entire world. Thousands of people, gaslit them to think that there's an emergency happening at the Whittaker house and everybody needs to call the police and do something. And what are they supposed to do? You got Eric there acting like he's some drug and therapy counselor. And what? Yeah. And now he's saying he's the one with mental problems. Well, wait a minute. Well, okay, you guys, let's fight over who's going to adopt Eric now. Now Eric needs to be adopted. Now he's mentally challenged. According to him, he says he's got all these mental problems. So I guess somebody's going to have to adopt Eric now. We're going to have an extraction. I think it has to be an extraction. Maybe we should call Adult Protection and get Eric extracted. And maybe Patrick can adopt him. You never know. Yeah, I think Lorraine's head could possibly be from when she was. Oh, but that was like 45 years. Well, Timmy's 46, so that was 46, 47 years ago. Man hit her, and it was almost 50 years ago. I don't know if it would still be hurting, but I think maybe she was having headaches. If I had to guess, I was thinking maybe she's got some headaches or something. Maybe she's got a headache. I don't know. Yeah. Yep. Lied to the donors and the viewers. That's right. Hey, right. And part of that statute for them crimes that Patrick got charged with was, did you make promises you didn't keep? Yep. Did you misrepresent stuff? Yeah. Did you take their money and not give it back? Yeah. Did I videotape their shortcomings and their disabilities to make financial gain? Yeah. excitement. Yeah. Y'all have to remember, once APS took them, local people started feeling safer. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any local people feeling safer. They felt safer talking to adult. I doubt that. I think that most of them are pretty much like Patrick. Tell them to get the F off my property. Get a search warrant. Yeah, I don't think anybody feels safe around APS. I mean, I'm sure they got their place, okay? And I'm sure child protection, they got some good stuff too. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anybody that wants to see them show up, but Yeah. Yeah, Grace is looking forward to hearing Sarah's voice. If Eric still has all of Whittaker's money, should it now go to where should it go now that the family split up? Well, it should go to Larry and Betty, because those were the two people who were supposed to get paid. Betty and Larry were the employees, or the 1/3 business owners. So the money was never supposed to go to the other three. The money rightfully belongs to Larry and Betty. They're the ones that signed the contract. Now, people say, well, maybe the nursing home will keep it for the three well, they can't do that. If they're all private citizens, you can't take a family member out of my house and then charge me for it, take my paycheck for it. Like, you can't take my paycheck from work because my grandmother got put in a nursing home. You can't take my paycheck for that. Things were always gossiped about in the area, but after they took the three new things, talked to what they knew. I didn't see anything. I saw nothing except just gossip. I saw no facts that the community felt better. As a matter of fact, I think that community is offended of what happened. I think they're very offended that Patrick and Eric comes from Georgia and comes in and makes their area looked horrible. I think they did a horrible disservice to Odd and Beckley and the whole Raleigh County. I think that, I think it's probably one of the worst things that happened to their area. I think it turned things upside down, made them all look bad, made them look like, like they all should be locked up. I don't know. I don't think she hurt from it. That community in Holler is tighter than you think. They're not getting involved. That's right. Nor that, thousands of years people lived without that stuff. And I mean, that's why they're tight. And that's why they get suspicious and frown on outsiders. They should. Because look what happens when outsiders come in. Look what happens. Now you can see why they frown on outsiders. Listen, I live in a small town. We tolerate the outsiders because this is a vacation town. And the businesses in this area in my town, we live off of tourism, right? The tourists is what keeps things moving here, right? So, but not that they're going to trust the outsiders, not like that, and tolerate them because we need them to keep the economy going here. But, it's them and it's us, you know what I mean? It's tight knit. Small towns are tighter than people think. That's what I like about it. There's a lot of people there not from there now. But when you move into, I'm not from here originally, but I moved in here. I'm one of them now. You know what I mean? You have a lot of outsiders. Every area does, but once you move somewhere, you're with them. Yeah, I think the community is tight. I don't think they wish none of this would have happened. Didn't shine a very good light on their community. gave him an unfair look, you know what I mean? Well, JD and his crew are not Eric fans, and they are from there. Yeah. And they frowned on this stuff coming into the Whittakers from the beginning. They saw what it was doing. They're there. They know more than anybody. Yeah. You can't wait for the weekends to be over so the folk, right? I know. Believe me, Thursday night, Friday, it just gets packed here. And then thousands and thousands of people come. And then Sunday, they all go home. And we're back to normal again. And it's just over the summer mostly. In the winter, they're not around here. Yep. Thank you so much. Looking forward to sharing and grateful how welcoming you and others have been. Yeah. Sarah, yeah. We're going to look forward to hearing from Sarah. If anybody doesn't know, Sarah Little is Eric's ex. When they have a child together. Her platform, I've been asked by many to join their streams, but I declined, wasn't ready. Still unsteady, but want to keep it about the Whittakers most. Yeah, that's good, Sarah. That's good. Like I told you, when you're ready, we'd love to hear from you. But yeah, we're going to let you do things your way, talk about what you want. Yeah, I think most people probably do want to hear what you have to say about the Whittakers. You probably know Eric better than any of us. Well, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you know Eric better than all of us put together, probably. So anyway, so I'll probably wrap it up and get off of here. Yeah, we're going to look forward to seeing Sarah. She's going to be, I'm going to probably be doing a, yeah, right, unfortunately. Yeah, so she's got some interesting stuff to say too, you guys. But yeah, so we'll look forward to seeing Sarah, talking to her. Today's Wednesday. I suppose I'll come back on Friday or Saturday. We'll do another live stream. If Sarah's ready, she can do it then. Otherwise, we'll talk more Whittaker stuff. I'm going to put out a few videos between now and then on the things that I promised. And I think that's about it. Should we wrap it up? I'm at 3 hours. Okay. Rest assured, Kathy is very easy to talk to. She does most of the talking. Yes, I am a big mouth. I'm chatty Kathy. Okay. All you have to do is pull the string in my back. Just pull it, and then I go on for hours. Yeah, I can sit here. I don't even have to get up and get more water or nothing. I just sit here and talk. Anyway, but I want to thank everybody for coming in. Good night to Brooks and Gardens. Good night to Sarah and Grace. Thank you for moderating, Grace. It's always kind of chill in here, so hopefully her job has been doable. Florida Life in the Sun. Brooks, ridiculous. Boss man. We saw Justin earlier in the comments, and I'm sorry if I missed comments because I said it's like, like messages on a fan blade trying to read them. Anyway, I'm sure I missed a lot of really good comments. I'm sorry if I missed your comment. Nothing personal. Good to see Patrick Paliman on here. Just D, pork chops. I'm getting hungry. Florida Life in the Sun. James, and anybody else that came in. All right. I think that's about do it. Anyway, I hope this has been useful and helpful. I will be talking to you guys too. You still have your chatty Kathy? You know what? I had one. And the voice box was garbled a little bit. It was garbled. There's a guy who actually works on the voice boxes. It's a rare trade. But yeah. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put up my garage sale video. And in my garage sale video, I showed that I was selling it. I clean out says a doctor's house. This guy that was a retired doctor. One of the very first cleanouts I ever did, and the guy gave it to me. Yeah, that guy was really cool. Anyway, so cool. All right, well, thank you, Florida, and everybody. Thank you, Red. Tina. Everybody, not my monkeys, everybody. So nice seeing you guys again. I thank you so much for coming in. And if you're listening on the replay, thanks for listening on the replay. What else we got? I think this is about it. All right. Peace, love, blessings. Thanks for listening and joining us. Blessings. And as always, peace.